All right. So this next person for a bonus episode is Katrina Davis. I can't remember when I first met her, but I know when we first met, I just remember her just being really funny, and we started putting her on buddy system shows, and we haven't had her on recently, but she's really funny. She's a really sweet person, and I think you'd appreciate her advice. And the advice I asked her was, if you're a new comic and you like really new, like you're just starting it and you want to get like in a scene, like how do you make friends? How do you go about all of that stuff? So here's Katrina.
Wow, what a freaking dingus. Okay. So I'm just gonna like paraphrase what I wrote. I'm so dumb. I'm so sorry about that. But so to answer your question about making friends and getting into new scenes, I've actually done it twice in the 6 years that I've been doing comedy. So I started in Jacksonville, Florida, and then moved to LA. And I feel like it's weird by nature that like we have to do this as comics. I feel like we're generally misfits, and then we have to like re-high school our way through this new social hierarchy. And it seems kind of obnoxious because it totally is, but I feel like there's a way you can kind of go about it and like circumvent all of the things that I think can frustrate people that just want to kind of tell jokes, and you can get kind of wrapped up in all like drama and rumors and all this stuff. And it's like, you can also just like not do any of that, which is an awesome option. So I would say definitely start by observing. Like the first mic I went to, I just went and would sit in the back and listen to everyone for this like 2.5 hour long mic, and I would leave and not talk to anyone. And I did that every Monday for months, like at least a month and a half, probably too, like an embarrassing amount of time. And I definitely wouldn't recommend doing exactly what I did. Like you can definitely like make friends and shake hands and tell people why you're there. Like one of my first friends in comedy that I made just came up to me at a mic and was like, "Why are you here?" Because they didn't even know. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like tell jokes one day," but I was just kind of feeling everything out. And I think that can be a good thing to do, because especially now, I feel like a lot of younger people that are starting because of the internet, and you see people that are like YouTube famous, and there's all these different ways to be entertaining that stand-up can seem really easy. And it can be really humbling just to sit back and watch a mic, and depending on how you're going into comedy, watch someone that you think is amazing and watch them completely eat shit, and then watch someone that you're like, "Oh, I'm way funnier than this guy. Why is he here?" And then watch them crush for 5 minutes and be like, "What the hell is that?" Like even learning what a mic is really like and the etiquette of a mic, and you can learn a lot just from watching and kind of just being in the space. And I think it also kind of can give you clout with people that see you coming back, and having that little bit of dedication to come back a couple of weeks in a row. It's like when you do finally get your turn on the mic, they're gonna listen to you because they're like, "Oh, I've seen this person come a couple times, but I don't know what they have to say." So not like you're trying to trick people into listening to you, but I think it kind of is like, "Oh, I've seen you around. Like, what's your deal? You're not just some like random person anymore." And I think giving back is also really important. So I think contributing, especially now that comedy is so, there's so many of us, and in LA, there's tons of comics. So I feel like it's important to give back. And I think I started my first mic in LA kind of by accident. Like even that was kind of trying to help out a friend who somebody bailed on them the night that they were supposed to host this mic, and kind of filled in with a friend last minute just because our friends, needed someone to host. And it ended up being this whole thing that just, it created a really nice place in the comedy community where people felt like there was a late night mic that wasn't necessarily had a bad attitude to it, because you can get real burnt out if you've been running mics since freaking 5 p.m. and it's 1 a.m. and you can kind of just get tired of it. So we kind of accidentally created this space with this mic called Mom Party, where everyone just had a great time and there were snacks and just having a great space to get listened to for 5 minutes can be a really great way to give back to a community that is hopefully giving a lot to you. And also hosting shows. So like once you get to a point where you're hosting shows and you can get people to come to a show and sit down, if you can foster a great audience for your friends that you know are talented and deserve to have their jokes heard, like if you can create a good space for the other people in the community, I feel like that's a great way to give back. And paying to go to shows, like I know that it's different because a lot of us are crazy broke and have no money, but if you can do it and you have a friend that has a show, go to their show and buy a ticket like you're going to their show. Like it's nice to go and support and sit in the back and laugh if you can't pay, but if you can buy a ticket or donate anything to a friend's show, it's like give back to your show, because if you're not on it already, eventually you want to be one of the people on those shows. And it feels really good to be able to put money in your friends' pockets when they did a great job and you guys all had a fun night doing what you love. So I think that's something to definitely work towards. So I think that is like, yeah, I don't know. It's just nice to do that and kind of just like, not even just in terms of reposting people, but supporting other comics and noticing that you respect other people in your community, even if, because I feel like as a comic, you do variety shows where it's not even all just comics. You can meet musicians, art, painters, artists, illustrators, the other kinds of artists that you will eventually need as a comic, even to do a flyer or whatever. Supporting your community and other people that you know are doing a good job in other ways, even if it's just recommending them, if you know someone needs some help with something or whatever, like anything you can do to kind of perpetuate the like not even the trade, but just like fostering relationships in the community, introducing good people to more good people. Anything you can do in that realm, I think is going to end up coming back to you in a good way. And finally, I would say in general, when it comes to like meeting new people, but especially in comedy, just follow your gut. Like, my mom used to always tell me, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I do that just generally in life. I think there can be a thing where you can meet someone and be like, oh, well, they seem nice. And you want to, talk yourself out of initial reactions. But it's like, if you get a weird feeling about someone, you don't owe anybody else an explanation. Like, you don't have to be mean to people, but you don't have to be everyone's friend. And you can, like, if you're looking at stand-up as your job, these are your coworkers. You're not necessarily going to be as close with all your coworkers. Some coworkers you do end up being friends with, but some people you are at work with and then you leave and they are no longer a part of your life. So don't feel like you owe anything to anyone. Like, if you love comedy, you're here to tell jokes, and anything other than that is great. And obviously friendships are necessary in every aspect of life, but just don't be afraid to kind of follow your gut when you meet people. And I think that it's even easier to find people that are obviously shady. Like, if you meet someone and they're sketchy, it's kind of easy. But I think especially here, there are a lot of people who are nice and mean well, and they're just living their lives too. But if you're a nice person that's looking for friends, you can kind of unintentionally find someone that can take a lot of your time and energy just because they're a person that is working through their own problems. So I feel like it's another thing to just be aware of, to, just like look out for yourself, like be nice to people, help people when you can, give people the resources that you can to help them when you can, but don't feel obligated to anyone in the comedy community, and like surround yourself with good people that are kind of in your same mindset. Like, if you're sitting around the mic and you hear someone saying the same kind of things that you're like, oh, I was thinking about that earlier this week, or I want to brainstorm that, or someone that you always end up joking with outside of a mic, if you just naturally find find a friend in comedy the way you would in any other setting. Like, follow those instincts and let those be your people and lift each other up and keep each other motivated and just like keep having fun and being funny with each other. But yeah, so I guess that's my long ass answer to your question. But thanks, Aaron. Love you. I can't wait to hear this. I'll talk to you later.